movies. Any comments about how one man used nothing but pure imagination to assemble a cast of characters hell-bent on saving the world or destroying it while trying are purely for entertainment purposes only. Isn't that right, Donald Trump?
Don't you mean Joss-Whedon?
Sure, him too.
How many of those movies did he direct?
What's that?
How many of those movies did he direct? Just
Trump?
2. No, Trump directed them all.
Just ask him, he'll tell you.
He's the best at directing. He directs everything. They're the best.
He got all of Joss Whedon's ideas first.
But Joss did it just twice, right? Just the original and then...
Are you talking about the Avengers?
Yeah.
Avengers Age of Ultron, and Firefly.
Was that an Avengers movie, Firefly?
No, that was his first movie. Serenity. Serenity.
I'm a fan. I'm just not very familiar. That's all I'm saying.
Then you're not a fan.
Well, no, I like it.
The definition of fan is to be familiar with everything.
The man knows every word to Dr. Horrible.
I do.
And can be heard to sing it in his shower.
Thank you.
If you're wondering, we are at a little thing called WhedonCon. We were here last year doing our wacky stuff that we do. And this is a fan convention by, for, of, created, all about the things of the Joss-Whedon universe, also known as the Whedonverse. Do I have that right? And you're Whedonites. Am I right? Is it Whedonites?
Whedonites.
Huh?
Whedonadians. Whedonans. Wheatigans.
Wheatigans? Wheaties.
I like it.
They're Wheaties.
Trekkies, so I guess we Wheaties.
We'll go with that.
Paul, would you like my mic? I'm really loud.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I need to hear you way down.
You are the host.
Welcome to the movie Showcast, everybody. This is part of the vast and sprawling Movie Guys empire. And buddy boy, we are back in business on Blue Star. You're witnessing the mighty return of the Showcast, where movies and comedy collide. We bring the two together right here on our show each week with rants, sketches, previews, characters, jokes, bits, banter, special guests, and more. We are no longer every week as we previously were for Weekly Madness. So check out the new movie show now if you want something that's weekly. Also on iTunes, but also on YouTube for your rundown of everything new in theaters every week. That's a 20-minute or so comedy show, all video, so you can watch and go nuts. But for now, we'll be doing showcasts on special occasions like this one, WhedonCon.
Is that the official theme for WhedonCon, Paul? Did you find the actual track?
This is it, isn't it? Yeah. We're not in the comfy confines of our studio in Burbank, but instead across town at the Warner Center Marriott in beautiful Woodland Hills, California. Broadcasting from the floor of WhedonCon. Proud to be back for year 2 of this fan fest. As I mentioned, Joss Whedon, let's go over some of the things so Bart can be caught up.
Yes. Bring me up to speed.
Angel, Firefly, The Avengers, Dollhouse, Cabin in the Woods, you name it, and more. Dr. Horrible we also mentioned as well. It's getting loved down right here as the fans are out and they're getting weird. We'll be talking to them later in the show. We'll ask about their favorite movies, and even though we've been away for a month, the show is still...
You know, Paul, I've been saving up all my money since the last time we did a showcast. Unfortunately, I spent my last $45 getting into the greatest con in the world, so I won't have any money for the showcast today. Sorry.
Don't worry, the show is free.
Oh, still.
It's a free show.
Great.
That goes for everybody. Wherever you find it and wherever you listen to it, we don't charge. It's really a bad business model. But we encourage you to follow us on social media as well, which is also free. Why aren't we charging for that?
It's the internet. You can't make money on the internet, can you?
At the Movie Guys on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and get interactive with us. Basically, just search the Movie Guys on Yahoo, Google, or Bing! And we come right up. I'm your host for the hardest working comedy show on the airwaves, Paul Preston, here with Adam Witt.
What a crazy random happenstance.
Bart Caius.
You keep using this word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
And Karen Volpe.
Are you a big old robot?
It's a special show, being on the road, so it's a special guest situation. Joining us all show long is an actor who, Whedonites, you know, Chris Cullen and Melody McCune, who are some of the social media staffers here at WhedonCon, said Whedonites.
Whedonites.
And they would know.
I think Whedonites are the ones that hang from the top of the cave, and I think there's another name for the,
Whedonuns.
But
Whedon-mites come from the bottom of the cave.
No doubt you've seen our special guest here is at the end of the table here. He's appeared on 3 Whedonverse shows, Angel, Dollhouse, and Firefly. It's Kevin Will.
Hey! I had no idea.
It's only 3 more than I've ever been on.
How you doing, Kevin?
Nobody has any idea. That's all right.
No, I love you.
I'm excited to find out more about this. Hey, can we interview this guy later?
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
And Kevin, feel free to chime in throughout the show. We'll be talking about movies and whatnot.
Okay.
If you'd like to correct us, say, well, that's not how we did it on Angel.
This isn't how we did it on Angel.
Before we talk to Kevin, of course, we have
Movie previews.
I do love that drop, but we're going to do something different today.
Uh-oh.
Normally we preview movies that are coming out, but today we're going to be recapping some of the summer so far movies.
I love how both Karen and I got worried when Paul goes, we're doing something new. This is not good for us.
I know. It's
Tried and true.
Last minute every
Yeah.
week.
I don't go to any restaurant I haven't been to before. That's my rule.
So he's been to one.
I love that you feel the need to say that when it clearly comes across when someone meets you.
Oh, okay. You're saving me some time now. Thank you.
We're going to goof on 3 new films in theaters right now to check out. First up, set your weapons to snark. The galaxy needs to be guardianed again.
Showtime, a-holes!
Yes. It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the sequel that has something for everyone. Women who love Chris Pratt, men who love Zoe Saldana, kids and adults who love Baby Groot, people who have a talking raccoon fetish.
Is that really a thing?
That's a pretty big galaxy, Paul. You know, got to be inclusive.
Gotcha. Let's talk about it. Adam, here we go.
More galaxy is threatened, so more characters are needed to defend it. Marvel Studios, the company that set the standard for naming things, brings back all of your favorite character names in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The first Guardians movie brought to the screen a veritable, who's that?
What?
Of Marvel superheroes, as it was adapted from both the Marvel comic book and critics who claimed Marvel was running out of characters.
Oh, really?
It should be noted that the same critics also declared Marvel Studios itself to be a non-starter because the popularity of Iron Man and Captain America couldn't match that of Batman and Superman.
Oh, really?
In addition to all the names you've been pronouncing wrong, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 adds dozens more names, all of which I will now list, along with some I've made up, and some Laugh Olympics contestants. Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket Raccoon, Boo-Boo Bear, Thunder Ferret, The Great Fondue, Thanos, Mantis and Manos, Ogrim Warhammer, Grape Ape, Jabberjaw, Hong Kong Phooey, Pee-wee Herman, Shrieking Violet, Ted Koppel, Captain Caveman, Hams Bear, and Al Molinaro.
Sci-fi's favorite dysfunctional family returns in an adventure that escalates the threat level from Galaxial to Universal. Although I don't think the trailer ever mentions what the threat is.
Who gives a shit?
Chris Pratt is back, along with Zoe Saldana, Bradley Cooper, Dave Bautista, and Vin Diesel. It's quite a group of actors. You might even call them a Pratt pack.
Okay, then I quit as your son.
If you want me to be the laugh track, Paul,
Please.
just let me know.
Yeah.
In what has got to be the biggest non-acting job in the history of cinema since the last Adam Sandler movie, Vin Diesel returns as the voice of Baby Groot. Here's what that sounds like.
I'm Groot.
Is that acting? Really? This is acting.
Have I hurt you? Don't be silly. Acting! Brilliant! Thank you! Thank you!
Thank you.
Wait a minute, let me think about this for a second. Now, Baby Groot, did a major comic book movie franchise just introduce a baby into its storyline? Easy there, producers. This isn't the 7th season of Family Ties. This is only the 2nd Guardians movie.
There will be time for that later. I mean, they haven't even taken the franchise to Hawaii yet. Now, while running around the galaxy, a subplot involves Star-Lord trying to determine who his real father is. He seeks answers from the most trusted oracle in the universe when it comes to matters of paternity.
You are the...
All right, and just who is Star-Lord's father? Well, we wouldn't want to give away any spoilers. That's the trailer's job.
And who the hell are you? I'm your dad, Peter. That's impossible!
I think we added that last part.
Yeah.
As if this wasn't already one of the great ensemble casts in cinema, the movie takes a break from making legends to welcome one as none other than Kurt, Snake Plissken, Jack Burton, Wyatt Earp, Captain Ron, Dexter Riley Russell joins the cast, after taking a year off of acting to change his name to that. That's right, Snake Plissken is Star-Lord's father.
That's not funny, Pliskin. Call me Snake.
With Russell's recent work in the Fast and Furious franchise and Deepwater Horizon and the Hateful Eight, does this mean we're having a Russell-sance?
That's not a thing.
No?
Well, it's a thing, just not a word. Will the galaxy be guarded? Will Star-Lord find his father? Does Baby Groot steal our hearts with his childish antics? Will there be a ton of explosions and a great soundtrack? All of these questions and more have already been answered in the trailer, so who cares? It's another Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Of course we'll go see it. Take all my money. There wasn't even supposed to be a first Guardians of the Galaxy movie to begin with. I'm there. I'm already there. I've seen it twice already. I'm going a third time now that I've talked about it. Well,
When we clap, the segment's over.
So we've all seen this.
Now
right?
we've seen it. Yeah, this is we saw this before we saw it.
I have not seen it.
Karen and I went and not saw it together.
What did you see instead of that?
Snatched.
Oh, how was Snatched?
Great.
Oh,
Yeah,
talk about that next.
But it's not that I don't want to see it. I just haven't had a chance. It looks fun.
Did everyone see Guardians of the Galaxy 2? It's fantastic, right? They just go do the second act. They don't even try. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just it's deepening these characters that are ridiculous.
One of the problems Karen and I had with the first Guardians movie, and I don't want to speak for you, but
I would
think
love to hear
I
it.
can't wait to find out.
too many names of too many people.
There are a lot of names.
A lot of names to keep track. A lot of ins and outs. A lot of
what have yous.
A lot of what have yous.
A lot of threads to keep in the duder's head.
I did not grow up a fan of comic books or a fan of the superheroes, and this was a great movie. The first Guardians was a great movie, but when I got there, I'm like, who the hell are all these people? I don't know. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. That's what I got. Stick with that.
Do not go see Suicide Squad.
Absolutely. The poster alone gave me a headache. I'm like, all
Do
right.
not see Spotlight. There's like a whole team of reporters. You're gonna
Yeah, I know. This is a little.
They're all named Mike and Steve, and those guys I can keep track of. Xanadu.
Yeah, every movie introduces 12 new people.
All named Tom. I can do
all named Tom.
Kevin, have you seen this?
Yes.
Now, remember we talked about the first one, and you said it just seemed like James Gunn is making a career for his brother. So the second one kind of doubled down on that.
Double down, yes.
Yeah.
Sean Gunn needs as much help as he can building his own career. So it's nice that he has a brother named James.
Is he the Fredo of the Guns? Is that it?
Not yet. Wait until he gets killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we can officially lay that
Yeah.
label on him. Yeah, absolutely. The thing about Guardians is it knows, like, there's a scene towards the end where two gods are fighting one another.
Yeah.
And that's where any movie could just completely go off the rails.
It often does.
And instead, Pac-Man reference, and that brings us right back, and we're like, that's what you're about. So you didn't stray too far from what you're about.
Is Thor one of those gods?
He is not.
No.
He'll be
See,
back.
I tried to include myself, and that's what happens.
You will have to wait to not see Thor Ragnarok in November.
There's
I'm
a
on it.
whole slew of MCU movies that you can look forward to not seeing.
Who are the two gods fighting?
Does it help you if the names themselves are short as
Yes.
well as not plentiful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, Tom, Steve, Mike,
One
Bill,
syllable.
Groot. My favorite.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on to our next film. Karen, Goldie
Yes.
Hawn
What
plays
else
Shirley
came out?
MacLaine to Amy Schumer's Goldie Hawn in Snatched. Karen, let's talk about it.
In Snatched, Amy Schumer plays Emily Middleton, a new type of character for Amy Schumer, until she gets dumped by her boyfriend, which is obviously an old type of character for Amy Schumer. She was all set for a romantic trip with her boyfriend to South America because apparently Emily hasn't been following the news much. Or perhaps she has an odd definition of the term romantic. Either way, her plans for an adventurous getaway with the love of her life fall apart when, out of the blue, her boyfriend decides to break up with her because his band is going on tour and he doesn't want to miss out on having sex with a bunch of women that aren't Amy Schumer.
I don't look like all the Kardashians.
True.
Now, yes.
He's just taken after the president who's bragged about grabbing women by the
Pussy.
I heard it that time.
I
from the
heard.
movie, and the president said it.
Heartbroken but determined to make the trip happen, Emily convinces her mother, Linda, played by Goldie Hawn, to join her for some mother-daughter bonding. And with Ecuador in a different time zone, Linda's great at smart stuff and will be handy explaining the time change to Emily.
There are 4 time zones in the United States. For instance, if you're having lunch in Chicago, it's breakfast time in California. Of course, if you're in Chicago, you wouldn't feel like breakfast if you're from California because you've just had lunch. However, those living in New York, it's dinner time while we're still eating lunch here in California.
Classic Goldie.
Oh, it's so
Classic.
adorable.
And you know what you miss hearing it is her eyes. They're just rolling around left to right. It's so cool.
Yeah, rattling it off while
Yeah.
being adorable.
That's awesome.
But as anyone who has logged onto the internet in the past 5 years can tell you, South America isn't quite the safest place for Americans to visit, especially for blonde Americans who happen to be blonde American women with good credit.
In a heartbeat, the film goes from silly to Sicario. Kidnapped and desperate, Emily places a call to where anybody would, to Liam Neeson.
Listen, I need your help. Mom and I got kidnapped.
I don't know who you are.
Naturally, Emily doesn't know Liam Neeson. Leaving the task of saving her and Linda up to her brother, played by America's favorite dork, Ike Barinholtz.
My mom and sister, they've been taken. I imagine you have a commando squad. 4 underground criminals who were tried for a crime they didn't commit.
Sounds like the A-team.
It is the A-team. Do you have an A-team?
That's the best.
A couple of things worth pointing out in this movie. Critics are already calling Goldie Hawn's performance in this return to the big screen overboard-esque.
Also, the film is produced by Paul Feig, the writer and director of The Beat, Bridesmaids, and Ghostbusters 2016.
The Heat?
Mm-hmm.
The Heat. Paul Feig has done so much for women on the big screen, at least as much as he's done for getting them called names on Twitter.
Yes, it's Snatched. Brought to you by the Ecuador Bureau of Tourism and Travel.
Do you think Ecuador has a say in it that, like, they look awful? I mean, or is it just you make a movie about them and they got no say in it?
It was shot in Canada.
I think it was shot in Hawaii.
Was it shot in Hawaii?
We went to a screening of this, and Paul Feig was there talking, and so was the director, and they were saying that the locations were selected not because they made sense, but they just sort of picked an area that looked like you wouldn't want to go there, and then they sort of picked a place
lot of
where
those there.
you would have to go down the Amazon, right? So they needed
sounds perfect.
something downstream that they could go to. So I don't. He even said it wouldn't make sense if you traveled this path.
I haven't heard the story. Did you get a comforting hug from Paul Feig?
I did.
Did you cry?
I cried.
You
like
cried
a
on Paul
lunatic.
Feig?
So we went to see Snatched, and Paul Feig was there, and I am a huge Ghostbusters 2016 fan. And if you knew anything about me, that's kind of a big deal because Ghostbusters, the original,
It's all we hear about.
And Ghostbusters
all life was
hear
about
about.
for me. And so knowing he was making a movie about it really was uncomfortable. And for the entire year and a half, I was a hater, and I wanted nothing to do with it. But I had to go see it, so I went to see it alone on the opening night because I was scared, and I didn't hate it. And so then I saw it again, and I liked it more. And then I saw it 9 times in the theater and loved it. And so to me, I was so happy that he didn't do something to this movie that was so meaningful to me. So when I saw Paul Feig there that night, I never thought I'd get to talk to him, but Paul managed to get us right up there. And so he introduced me to Paul Feig. And my plan was to very calmly and intelligently, like we're being right now, say, thank you
It was a
for
wonderful
Ghostbusters 2016. But that came out with a lot of crying and spitting, and then like,
Hi, Paul. This was another great movie. I'd like you to meet my wife. That's my wife.
that went on for like 5-10 minutes. He was very nice about it. I managed to get out, thank you. I loved the women, and thank you for comedy, women, funny. And he took a picture and gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I posted it on Twitter. And I said, oh, I met Paul Feig, and I ugly cried all over him. He responded to me and said, I made his week, and thank you for what I had to say, and it made him feel great to hear that. And Snatched opened that week, so apparently I made his week. So Paul Feig is a super great guy. Talk to him when you meet him. He's the best.
But would you expect anything less?
He should have a whole con.
I'd go to that so hard.
Well,
Yes.
strong women is a common theme amongst WhedonCon and Paul Feig-con.
Now that's a con I would go to. An all-woman con.
You know, someone
Patent
asked
pending,
him,
patent pending.
They're not going to let you in.
Somebody asked Paul Feig if he decided to cast
Don't
women.
assume my gender.
People were asking Paul Feig if he decided to cast women because that was his thing or that's what he's known for. And he said, I cast funny people. And I thought that was pretty
I've said it
badass.
before. Say it again. I'll say it until it's no
Are
longer.
you sure? Because I'm within punching distance.
No. Melissa
right.
McCarthy, the funniest human being on the planet right now. Right?
Yeah.
The one we could read the phone
And,
book.
and that's the thing too. You're remaking, or not remaking, but sort of a cousin remake, a rebootish type thing of Ghostbusters. The main thing about the first one is the 3 funniest men that were walking the earth, and one of the funniest directors. That is exactly what Ghostbusters 3 is. It's the 3 funniest people.
And
So-
he said that it's all about the relationship, and that's what I loved about the original Ghostbusters is people
Do they
coming
get it on?
together to work out something and make their lives better and make a dream come true and just being good at something. And that's what I loved about Ghostbusters 2016 is the women were all good at something. It wasn't about being a mom or a sister or a girlfriend. That they agree. And so that was never the area that we had to deal with, and I love that. And in Snatched, these two women kick ass and get themselves out of all sorts of situations by themselves, like a woman would if she were alone in the woods.
Because Ike Barinholtz certainly isn't helping, right?
It's like grab a damn shovel and hit somebody in the head with it. Women would do that if they were in an alley. You wouldn't go wait for some guy.
Shovel to the head? Isn't that just dating? Or is that just me?
That's you. That's your
okay.
dates.
You're old-fashioned that way.
It's very good.
I'm a bit of a traditionalist.
Yeah.
I get a good shovel to the head before the evening's over, and then, I've done something wrong.
It's how you like it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm going to veer from what I've been reading on, Vegetableometer or whatever it's called. It's a good, funny comedy. You like Amy Schumer? She has this penchant for ways to present shallow bachelorettes, who don't do themselves any favors in a comedic way. Her TV show is that sketch after sketch. It's about the dummy who just has horrible dating choices or whatever lifestyle choices, and this is another one. And now they just take it to extreme lengths by putting them in a foreign country where they get in all sorts of trouble. But there's plenty of jokes. All you gotta do is get out of trouble, but do it with a ton of jokes. And there's a ton. I thought it was funny. And I like Amy
Shovel to the head, best way to get out of trouble.
Karen, did you see the trailer for Snatched before you saw the movie?
I did, and I still went.
That's because that's got to be one of the least funny trailers I've ever seen.
For Snatched?
Have you seen the Baywatch trailer?
No.
That's
It's jokeless.
But there's like
Jokeless,
17 Baywatch trailers now that I've seen, and a lot of the ones that we didn't review for the show actually have some pretty good lines in it. And I thought the Snatch trailer made me want to watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was so disappointed.
Really?
It's much better than the trailer.
Good.
And a lot of
I'm
movies
very glad to hear that.
Well, it's probably, maybe the rated R version of all that is more enjoyable. Put it on TV, the best you can do.
There's always the Red Band trailer. If it's an R-rated movie, the Red Band trailer is going to be the funniest one.
Joan Cusack, by the way, steals the movie.
Oh, that's great.
So good.
She's welcome to steal any movie.
She doesn't even have any lines. Fantastic. She's great at her job. It's fun to see that.
Let's get on to our next film, taking us back to the days of Excalibur.
Oh, boy.
Yes, 400 AD goes 300, and Bart's going to join me to talk about it. Here we go. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Now, Paul, normally a movie about one man grabbing another man's sword wouldn't interest me all that much, but this one looks pretty good because it's actually about King Arthur and the legendary sword Excalibur. One of literature's greatest Freudian symbols comes to life when Arthur is able to pull his sword Excalibur from the earth vagina, where his turgid father placed it. And ta-da, we have a new pope, or something. Finally, a movie where it makes sense that everyone has a British accent. I'm looking at you, Prince of Persia.
King Arthur.
They were in Persia.
You're the only one.
They were Persian, not British.
I'm looking at you, Troy.
It's
Greece. King Arthur is England's greatest legend. Other British heroes had bigger victories, but none did so with a name as British as Arthur.
If you get that joke, God love you.
Thank you.
He does. He remembers Arthur.
We'll talk after the show.
Arthur puts together a team of knights to take seats at the roundest table in Christendom.
Camelot. 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 It's only a model.
Amongst the knights was Sir Jared, who was married to Arthur's daughter, who had performed the kingdom's noblest task, inheriting the land of his father.
From here, Arthur seeks revenge for his father's death and tries to assume control of the throne that is rightfully his. This will, of course, take a whole lot of slow-motion sword fighting to accomplish.
While the Arthurian legend is classic fiction, it turns out King Arthur here was a real guy. The real facts have been blown out of proportion in order to make him a legend, like Ronald Reagan.
Now, kids, this is not the movie to watch if you're trying to get out of a reading assignment for 8th grade literature. Trust me, there weren't millions and millions of soldiers fighting millions and millions of others. This was the Middle Ages. There were about 40 people total.
God forbid we have hundreds of people in a battle scene when millions will do. King Arthur is directed by Guy Ritchie, director of Snatch and Sherlock Holmes. Here, Guy Ritchie reaches peak alpha male after a career filled with dick-waving contests, exploding wood, and the name Guy Ritchie. Pretty sure you can expect a lot of men speaking with accents you can't understand.
Save your breath for could, you parts. Hey, look, she wants a heck of 2 roof lights, the stylus house frame furniture, and the Scotter cushions with matching shag cover.
Exactly.
Amazing. Is that Brad Pitt?
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
Charlie Hunnam stars. Now, I had to look that up when searches for a third Hemsworth turned up nothing. Turns out he was last seen in Pacific Rim, like that needs a lead.
Leads.
You could probably have Meryl Streep and Tom Cruise in Pacific Rim, and the stars would still be robot fighting Godzillas.
Yes.
Hey, one of Charlie Hunnam's best films.
Go ahead.
Nicholas Nickleby.
Which Nicholas Nickleby, and when did that come out?
Yeah, and you saw that, and there's lots of
were
questions.
you sick that day watching PBS? Give me the whole
10 years
story.
ago, he was a younger guy. It was in theaters.
Oh.
But it actually was like, I never knew Dickens wrote anything where people did interesting action-based things, but he fought for a lot, and he was like, fighting.
Are you saying Nicholas Nickleby is an action movie?
Kind of. He's fighting injustice. Not with a cape or anything.
Hey,
but
Oliver's
Fighting with his
pickpocketing,
fists?
so let's just calm down.
most of the time they just sit around and talk about love or whatever. But
Oh.
not in this one. Nicholas Nickleby is pretty cool.
No, I haven't seen Arthur. This is already come and went, right? Is this still in theaters?
Still.
It tanked
From
hard.
a week ago?
14 mil on a $175 million budget.
But
And
they'll
looks
make it all
goofy.
up on. They'll make it up on DVD and home. I mean, this will play big overseas, right? Because
China
it's
will
just
love it.
That's where King Arthur's from, overseas.
there you go.
I'd love to see the English.
I find that bad movies generally don't play good anywhere.
No?
Really?
This was pretty bad.
I figured the
saw it?
Chinese watched everything.
Wait, Kevin, you saw it?
I saw it when I was just horribly, horribly bored one night.
That
And I
answers
didn't-
my why question.
I was not tired.
This
And
ought to cure it, says.
It was the last thing that was still playing. It was like 11:40.
Wow.
It was the opening weekend, so I said, "Sure, let's give it a try."
Yeah.
I've got an extra $14.50 in my pocket. Let's go.
Nice. So you didn't do 3D?
Wow.
It was that bad?
Yeah.
Really?
Any exploding wood? I love exploding wood. Like
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes had the best exploding wood. Was
Yeah,
there any-
no, I
Several
I
adult
thought it
films.
would be entertaining. Do you remember A Knight's Tale?
Yeah, with Richard Gere?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Oh.
And they
Right,
sort
the
of
first night I'm thinking.
updated like the feel of the Knights. Like it wasn't very true to the times. That wasn't the important thing.
I think the
They played
soundtrack
like,
was different
It's
too.
like Queen.
like yeah, like rock
Anachronistic.
and roll
Yeah.
music. It was
Yeah.
that was better.
Well, where they lost me, where I got worried about, what's this one called? King Arthur.
King Arthur.
Haven't seen
King
it.
of the Britons.
Is in the preview. They have him doing P90X to get ready for the fight. Have you noticed that? He's doing like Tybo, getting ready to go into battle.
Super
and he's-
Tybo, yeah.
That's when I thought, you know
Sir
what?
Billy Blanks joins him in there.
You may have updated it a bit too much.
You're the best.
Stop the insanity! Seriously, we didn't fight like that, right?
Well, yeah, they fought like this back then, right? They did the whole.
least.
This is how you fought back then.
Yeah.
Kevin, can you confirm this?
Oh, nice! Catch it. Get your.
no,
There you go. Get your phone.
The
Excellent.
scripted part is over.
Glad we didn't bring our own equipment.
Oh, poor Kathy.
Kevin, can you confirm what I thought I saw in the trailer, but I swear the trailer's just bananas for this movie. It might be some of the goofiest stuff currently playing. Was there like a 200-foot elephant in it?
What?
Yeah, why is there a 200-foot elephant in
I'm
the
back.
trailer?
I did
I'm
fall
back.
asleep for periods during
It's got to be Merlin, right?
I probably
So
don't
literally,
recall.
there was a 200-foot elephant in the
I
room.
wish I had brought a big, super big gulp of cold water because I could have spilled it on myself and stayed awake through the movie.
Were there any women in the movie?
Again, I fell asleep through much of the movie.
All right, enough with the new movies.
Amazing. Go see Snatched is what we
Let's
learned.
get some extended time with our guest, Kevin Will.
Yes.
Outside of the 3 Whedonverse appearances, he's also been in films like The Prestige and the TV shows like Big Love and CSI. He teaches a fantastic, one might say transformative acting class in Sherman Oaks on Monday nights called Meisner LA. It's Kevin Will, everybody.
Right on. And he's kind enough not to spill my
I
coffee.
just recently learned he would like to be a talk show host.
That's right. That's well,
He's a
This is
natural.
your chance. This is
not
your audition.
anymore.
It's changed.
It's changed ever since this experience started.
All right, so you've been an Angel and Dollhouse and Firefly. Let's go back to the first one. Angel probably was the first one of those. No,
At
Firefly.
1999,
Oh,
yes.
90 okay.
Which episode?
Oh, God. Do I need to know the names? I don't
I'm gonna
even
look it
know
up.
if I knew the
I'm
names.
someone probably will
Somebody
if you
here
don't.
probably knows.
It was, all right, let's,
Hold on. You don't need to look it up. You can just. I'm skipping.
I played the character called Heath that no one remembers.
Oh, excellent.
You were not a recurring.
Everyone
I
loves
was
Heath.
not a recurring. I was supposed to be a recurring on Firefly, but I found out in a very interesting way that they had changed their minds.
When they
What?
were yelling, get off set?
I think a
or-
network had changed their minds on that show. Or is that-
There was
Who
a
the
guy
hell's Heath? Get him out of here.
No, when apparently they changed the script and I died at the end of the episode.
Oh, you got to die. That's
Hey,
great.
if Joss Whedon kills you, that's legendary status, right?
Apparently, because
He murders so many of
everyone
his
here
characters.
knows who I am.
Unfortunately, it was off screen. It was like, where's Heath? I don't know. He died.
He died. Yeah, apparently on that show, if the guys with the wearing the blue hands came up and spoke to you, you just disappeared forever.
That happens in real life, too.
Does it really?
Yeah, stay away from the guy
How
with
would
blue
you
hands.
know? Because if you had seen the guys with the blue hands, you wouldn't be here.
Maybe it's just a cautionary tale.
Perhaps. One your mother told you.
Yes, she
At
does.
night.
When she tucks me in at night.
Right,
Stay away from men with blue hands.
That was very good
and
advice.
blue other things.
Very good advice.
For anyone following along,
Yes.
Heath premiered and ended in the episode Sense and Sensitivity,
Ah, that's right. That's what it was called, yes.
season 1.
I released everyone from prison because I had touched an enchanted talking stick that made me incredibly empathetic.
Okay. That's why they got rid of you. You were touching your talking stick.
Well, yes.
You couldn't
No,
do it. Back then, you couldn't do that on TV unless you were in safe harbor, which is after 10. I don't think it was.
So I felt bad for all the people that had been jailed, and I opened up the doors and let them all go.
It's kind of a good guy.
You could look at it that way, yes. or
Now tell us
really
about the
dumb
character of Officer from Firefly.
bad. Really,
What was his motivation?
the in-depth study that I did for that role.
You had to have a whole backstory, right?
Yeah, the most of the preparation I did for that role was coming in to be fitted for the costume.
But you got to wear a cool costume, right?
Oh, it was, some people thought it was very cool. I did not. They literally built this entire costume just for me. It was I'm on the whatever Imperial ship and we're hunting the stars of the show down. And because it was the train robbery one, the train job.
It is the train job. I can confirm that.
Look at this. He's got all the information. And so they had told me this is, likely a recurring role, and that's why we're going through the expense of making a costume that is just for you. Very, very, very form-fitting.
Talk slowly.
And not exactly my favorite experience. One, because why would you want to have a form-fitting costume on me? But two, I like breathing. I find it helpful for staying awake.
Comes in handy.
Women never breathe in our costumes.
Yeah, no, never, not allowed. And I got to come in and shout out some orders. And, it was great. I was excited. I was, had been out here for, 3 years maybe. What was that, 2002? And, wow, they know.
See, I'm telling you, they
And,
will know.
You're in the right place.
And I was like, hey, I already got a recurring role. That's great. And then they kill me at the end of the episode. And I was like, but they said in the costume shop that, yeah.
But they want to use this costume again.
That's right. So I thought it would be great if I could get that costume to wear it here, but it's, I think they burned it.
I remember once in Chicago, Kevin and I met in Chicago many moons ago. I was working on the TV or the film Michael with John Travolta. I was a PA, and I was talking to another PA who went out to a train track, like where, this road meets a train track, and he just sat there all day and wrote down when the trains went by. They needed to know about when for this location shoot they were doing to see when the trains went by. That's like $350 I paid that guy just to go and do that. So,
Which is funny because that's what you did on your own time.
yeah, I just stand out there when train go by. Yeah, I get very excited. But this just shows you like the money they got on this. Like they built you a costume. Whatever, you're dead. Okay, well we spent however much crazy money on a big costume.
The sets were amazing.
Yeah,
Just walking around in between.
They were
shots.
practical sets? That was long before all the green screen
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you would have outside the window would be green screen. But everything was built and just walking through. I got to be on this huge deck of this spaceship. And
Living the dream.
But they would have like off the sides these lights, on just twinkling lights, just stuff to add in to the ambiance of the whole thing. And whatever angle you looked at it as, you were like, I'm on a spaceship right now.
Now, is it easier to get into a character of some sort? You've got all this stuff around you. I mean, it's just got to be like, I'm playing like on a playground right now, right? So you can just kind of get into the role a little bit?
Maybe. I mean, it certainly helps. It doesn't detract from the experience. The way I'm trained, you're using all your imagination anyway. But yeah, I mean, what wouldn't help is if, they just made you, I can't imagine working on a movie that's just all green screen. Like they have those that are just all computer generated and all you're looking at is a little ping pong ball. And I think that would be really
This is why I
challenging.
think I think we've had this discussion before where that is more acting.
Yeah.
If all that's in front of you is a big green square of foam and nothing else in the room, there's no other actor, there's no other scenery, there's nothing for the actor to respond or to engage with. I think that's why when you see all how the Captain America movie was made, it's just three guys in a green garage pretending something's attacking them. That's like every 8-year-old boy's Saturday afternoon somehow.
But that so humanizes these big movies now. You're like, so I could do that in my garage. I mean, if obviously everybody writes to Captain America for that one, but it's interesting. It very much humanizes like, oh, so I could do that in my garage if I wanted to.
And it makes it almost, this is just me, a little silly. Because you realize just how silly the making of this movie is. It's just guys wearing a unitard, pretending, and then $3 million worth of special effects. Oh, yeah, that looks great.
Well, it's not going to get any less silly when they create a talking raccoon,
It's also not that different from every audition I've gone on.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
at least you're not playing to a blank wall like you are in an audition.
Right. But I mean, you're talking to 3 different characters in this audition, yet there's one reader. Yeah. And
one lowly millennial giving you the stink eye
around the room, and you got to have a different eye line for each one. You need to know who's saying what line so you can respond to that person. You have to create them from your imagination. So I mean, in the auditions, it's probably not having anybody like firing a ray gun at you that you have to react to, but yeah, there's still a lot of imagination involved. And I guess the more you do it, the better you get.
I will be reading the role of Gamora. Be careful, Star-Lord, get down. Be careful, Star-Lord, get down.
I went to
do this again.
I went to a Q&A a couple of nights ago with the great Carl Weathers, and he told the story, and it's a classic story, and I'm just going to tell it because I liked it so much, and I'm sharing it with everyone I see. He went to, and you'll appreciate this, Kevin. He went to the audition for Apollo Creed, and he went in the room, and he's all psyched. He's been getting ready. He knows what Apollo's all about. He's fired up, and he sits down, and a guy comes in. He slunches down and making up words in the chair, and he's reading the script with him. He's like mumbling, and he's like reading back and forth, and he do the whole scene, and it gets done, and the producers kind of look at each other like, okay, yeah, and they like talk to each other, and he's getting antsy. Carl's like, so he just blurts out, hey, we get a real actor in here. I'll do this again, man. I can kill this, And of course, he was working with the writer, who is Sylvester Stallone, mumbling his way through all this stuff.
Apollo.
But you got to think, I mean, they probably went back and said, oh, that dude's Apollo Creed, coming in saying something like that. That's how he followed it up right before he left, and so he blurted that out.
I try to insult the writer every audition. Yeah.
They'll take it. They'll take the insult.
Now, with 3 Joss Whedon shows, well, first of all, let's go back to Firefly. You're chasing down the crew. Did you ever work with any of them, or you just...
No, I'm just in a spaceship shouting out orders to people. Essentially being an asshole.
Did you get them all killed? Did they all die? Was it on you? Your characters?
No, I don't think there was any great damage that I did. Yeah, no, I just got visited by these dudes at the end. After I come in and I shout some orders at everybody and, get them back on the train and find those guys and whatever. Then at the end of the episode, this change happened, and these guys with blue hands came and showed me a picture of somebody, and I was never seen again.
Is this a train robbery plot? I don't know this episode.
No, the episode was the train job, and
job.
those guys. Yeah, no, that's okay. All the stars of the show that everyone knows knock over this train, and it has, I forget what it had on it. It had some stuff that they were using as medicine, and it was rare and very valuable, and some word comes up to me on this ship, and I'm supposed to send some guys down to handle it.
But since it's a space western, I guess this is the train job genre.
No, it was definitely
the Great Train Robbery.
Yeah, they were using that
Sci-fi
western
version.
thing.
So after appearing on 3 shows, did you ever brush shoulders with Joss himself, or no?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, Joss directed the episode of Firefly that I was on, the train job. I didn't see him on Dollhouse. He did not direct the episode of Angel, but he did direct the episode of Firefly. And basically, a totally cool guy, really laid back, totally easy to work with. This was my 3rd year in LA, and so I wasn't really relaxed when I was on set. I was still trying to do a really good job. I want to do a good job. And I remember doing I think it was the last take with the guys with the blue hands. I said a line, and I was like, God, I'm sorry. Could we do that again? He was like, no, it's fine. I think he was just basically wanting to usher me off set as quickly as possible. But he seemed a lot easier to work with than I was with my own self.
Do you ever come across a director, now you teach Meisner, do you ever come across a director who's, you just like, they get it, their Meisner philosophy and they sort of work with you in that vein? Or do you, because I imagine you come across directors with 100 different styles and you have your way of acting. But I don't know if there's anyone who suddenly you're like, oh, that guy knows how to work with someone trained like me.
I think most of the directors that I've worked with, they're able to recognize how to work with somebody, but it's never been specified. That it's like Meisner's name never comes up. They might recognize that that's how someone works and they're familiar with it and they know what it is, and so they can dance with that. But it's never really been, oh, you're a Meisner trained actor, okay, so I'll be this way with you. I think they're really more concerned with, and television, man, you gotta,
it's fast, right?
Yeah, you got a week to get this all in the can. And you're looking at multiple locations, and they're building sets, especially for this episode, and it's moving. So they don't have a lot of time to sit down and talk shop. But they're more concerned with just getting what they need, and they will feed you whatever sort of little word here or there that they think is going to tweak what you just did into being more what they want. But rarely do we get into Stanislavski or Meisner or anything like that.
Although obviously a director would recognize if you are trained in the method, because you would come in the character.
Yes.
And they'd recognize that. But Meisner would be harder to recognize because that's a technique that's meant for before you act. You don't really employ that on the set because that's kind of an exercise base. I don't know entirely.
Shame you built your own costume because you're going to die at the end of this. You seem prepared, but it's over for you.
I've been in character for 5 weeks. Like Jared Leto is in character for 6 months, and he's in that movie for 4 minutes.
Just until recently have I started to get roles that were a little meatier. So Meisner.
Oh, you were in the movie Meteor?
I was.
Okay.
I was the meteor. Didn't take a lot of preparation.
More rolling than you would expect.
A lot more rolling. I got dizzy, but I got used to that. Meisner is designed to get people to be just in a very, very truthful and simple place. And when you have, some lines where you stomp on with an attitude and bark out some orders at the people to go, send some troops down in there. There's not a lot of, you need to be authentic and believable in that role, but it's difficult to screw that up. And the more I learn about acting, the more I know that once you get trained to be yourself, once you get comfortable being yourself in front of, cameras and a group of people, and you just get out of your own way of, like I said, I want to impress people, I want to do a good job. You just stop doing all that. And the less you do, the better. Once you've allowed yourself to be yourself, and everybody has their own personality, everybody has their own charisma. Once you're comfortable with your own charisma, all you got to do is understand what world you're in, which with Joss can be pretty complicated sometimes.
He's a world builder.
So on Dollhouse, so I'm getting my ass kicked by a very diminutive lady. Got it. Okay, I'm not going to ask how this is possible. But once you understand your circumstances, the imaginary circumstances of the world, just don't do anything.
Get out of your way.
Just do very little and respond kind of like we are right now. Just be boring.
Now, I'm kind of curious, those three shows kind of happen in different phases. Like, for example, Angel, now that might have been all on sets, but I feel like there was some practical shooting out in the locations and stuff for Angel. I don't know what yours was.
It was all on locations, but some of those locations had been, like an entire building had been turned that was just used for shooting in.
Yeah.
It used to be some municipal part for Los Angeles. And, yeah.
And whereas Firefly, that's all sets and everything.
All
Now,
sets.
Dollhouse, that's even further along in Whedon's career. That's a kind of a different tone of show. So, what was just the sort of difference between those compared to the difference in them as shows, really, I guess?
Well, I mean, each show had their own tone. It was always an aspect of tongue in cheek to it. It depends on the role that you're playing, whether you are the punchline, which I think my characters almost always were, but there was always this level of sort of magic, like somebody had some sort of magic power to it. Angel was all about that. Dollhouse, they had these enhanced strength abilities, and everybody had their own sort of special thing. And it was largely empowering women, having women be the people that kick ass and take names, which I thought was great. And it was an honor to be had the crap beat out of me by a young lady, just like thoroughly trashed. Didn't even know what was hitting me.
I have to go watch that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you've wanted to do that a couple times yourself.
Love to see that.
Who beat you up?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not. I'm trying.
The one on IMDb.
The lead
Yeah,
character.
no, I was.
The lead character.
You said it was some tiny woman.
Yeah, she was very, very tiny.
Again,
Now
sounds
Bart's
like a-
just wanting to do that.
Well,
Have
just
this
sounds
woman
like a
begin.
date. I don't know.
That's you and your dating life again.
Kevin Will played Jerry.
Getting hit by shovels, apparently.
Bart,
the
you're
in the
coming
episode
across
Grit.
not at all desperate.
Oh, okay, got it.
She didn't even need a shovel. It was just high heels and bam.
So Elijah Dushku beat you
Yeah.
up. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
she
awesome.
beat me up.
I'd let her beat me up any day.
Gesundheit.
As would I.
So in Firefly, you didn't see the crew, but later on you worked on Castle. So did you work with Nate Fillion then directly, or no? You just keep avoiding him.
I did not.
Son of a.
On
He got
Castle,
he get beat up by Elijah Dushku. I mean, whatever else is bonus, I think.
Everything else is
well, yeah.
gravy.
I really don't remember anything after Elijah hit me in the jaw.
It's probably best.
No, we were stuck on a subway car, and another one of the series regulars was on the subway car with us. But Nate Fillion was left sort of trying to help us get out of that situation from the outside.
Damn.
Yeah.
I would say he's a handsome man.
Very handsome man.
Handsome man.
Very handsome
Not
man.
gonna lie. And David Boreanaz.
I don't get it. I don't. I'm secure enough in my own masculinity to admit when a man is handsome. Nate Fillion, if you're in the room, I don't think he is. He doesn't do it for me.
Captain Hammer?
Captain Hammer doesn't do it for me.
What?
Honestly. He always gets cast as like hunky guy, right?
Yeah, he is a hunky guy.
I guess. Do a sit-up.
And
I
uber
don't know.
confident.
Well, he does play uber confident
Yeah.
well. But, yeah, never.
He could play the Tick. I think he would be a good Tick.
Yeah, he would be a really
He
good
would be a
Tick.
good Tick.
Yeah. I thought Patrick Warburton did a
he
pretty
was-
good.
He's the ideal Tick.
Like, yeah,
He was excellent.
he was like the perfect
Hey,
Tick.
Kevin, let me ask you what we ask every guest who comes on the show. What is your favorite movie of all time?
This is the most unfair question.
Well, it's
ever.
because there are wrong answers.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
you know.
I'm fairly certain Mr. Opinionated in the middle there is going to have a wrong answer. For me, boy, I tell you, any one of these would be, a top 20, top 10 on any other given day. Can I name three? You're not going to let me
I'll
name
go with three.
You'll
20,
allow
no.
three?
I'll give you
All
three.
right. All the President's Men.
Nice.
The Sting.
Ooh.
And Michael Clayton.
And what was the last one? Oh, Michael Clayton is such a good movie.
You got 2 of the 3. Yep. I'll let you figure out which one isn't.
Which one doesn't fit for you?
For me, All the President's Men. Is that the one about Watergate?
Yeah.
They just talk and talk about
that's
nothing.
the best talking. It's
and
all the best talking.
Head scratching.
No.
It's not 12 Angry Men, which is all talking and great. But of those 3, for me, all the President's Men was just boring.
I've seen that movie so many times. I'm totally with you. It's every time it's on Turner Classic Movies a lot, or AMC, one of those two, and every time I'll just watch that movie. I love the way that unfolds. It's unbelievable. You're technically correct. It should not work because it is all talking, but the charm in all of the talking is fantastic.
Hoffman and Redford, right?
Hoffman and Redford.
Okay.
I'll watch Redford talk for 2 hours.
Right.
You don't even need Hoffman. Yeah. I like. What do you make of Redford, Kev? I think he's supernatural. Not supernatural. I think he's very natural.
No, he's the natural.
He's supernatural in his own special way.
He's
Except for that moment where he got cursed by the tiki they found in Hawaii, but that was supernatural.
He was the natural.
He's the natural.
Oh,
That's
there
what I
you go.
said. He's the natural.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The best there ever was.
I mean, I wouldn't say, he's made some movies that I think are duds, but my gosh, he's Robert Redford.
2 of your favorites.
Yeah. He directed one of my favorite movies, which is the Milagro Beanfield War. That's just a sweet movie. Very unique. Got a heart of gold. It's interesting when you said you were talking about Travolta. It reminded me that I had a dream just the other night, and this ties in with Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm going to cut you off right there, real quick. There's no way you can say, without sounding creepy, I had a dream about you. So if that's what it's going to be, like I had a dream about you, or you were in my dream last night, no matter what comes after that, it's just creepy.
I would like to say this is a safe space. Go ahead.
But
trust nest.
Paul was not in my dream.
Okay.
It was John
I got
Travolta,
that.
but he had the hair back in the day, like Kurt Russell had his hair from back in the day in Guardians of the Galaxy. And this was after I had seen the movie.
It's a dream of mine, too.
That had to have been what influenced Travolta's hair in my dream.
Speaking of hair and All the President's Men, don't they have the greatest hair in that movie?
The greatest hair.
And Alan Pakula directed another movie called The Parallax View with Warren Beatty.
Yes.
Warren Beatty has, please, everyone look it up right now. Warren Beatty, Parallax View. He has the greatest head of hair I've ever seen. I wish to have this giant flowing mane of Warren Beatty.
Is this because I said I didn't like President's Men? Is that why you're rubbing it in about the hair?
Oh, somebody's a little self-conscious because he was involved in Watergate.
I hadn't noticed just how thinning your hair was until you brought it up.
The folks in the back might not be able to see it, but up close, it's, yeah.
Let's go out to the house. Who's got a favorite movie of all time? Go ahead and just shout it out.
And remember, there are wrong answers.
Please don't say that. You will make them not talk.
Oh, okay. Anything with Tom Cruise is a correct answer.
Should I walk around with the microphone? Should I go mic the crowd?
You want to pull a Donahue?
Yeah. Can I go Donahue them?
Hit me. Open Range is a fantastic movie.
Oh, that's right. Kevin Costner, the Western. It's got this amazing shootout at the end. That's the only thing I've seen from that one.
Oh, you should see the whole thing.
Yeah.
The shootout.
You can't go
at the
wrong
end.
with Robert Duvall. You can't go wrong.
Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner most of the time too, especially with Western.
It got a lot of play because they pulled all the score out of that final shootout, and it was just extremely loud shotgun noises that were jarring. So it really kind of brought home the realism of how that fight would have gone down, as opposed to something super stylized. Costner's a great director. I mean, I never saw The Postman, so I can still say that.
I would enjoy the hell out of Postman, but it simply doesn't come into my life. There's some of those movies, like I told you, Chariots of Fire, might as well not even be a movie. That's never been on cable. Nobody's ever talked about that. Why is that even an Oscar winner?
Why has that never been on cable?
I purposefully do not see Chariots of Fire because my favorite movie of all time is Raiders of the Lost Ark, which I should say is Best Picture, but instead 1981's Best Picture went to Chariots of Fire.
A movie nobody's ever mentioned since.
And people talk about Raiders every day.
Except if they have to run in slow-mo, and then they play the theme for Chariots of Fire, and nobody even knows what that's from anymore. They just know that's what you play when you go slow-mo in any TV show right now.
Can you name the composer
I
of
can,
that music?
but that's the thing. When they do the Chariots of Fire, I think a lot of people go, oh, I love that Tangerine Dream music. It's Vangelis!
That's right. Vangelis.
Of Blade Runner fame.
That's how much you don't know about that movie. Nobody knows about that movie.
You could run in slow motion to the theme of Raiders.
But why would you want to? It's
The beginning
so
part.
exciting.
Well, that's true. I'm just saying it works.
Dun-dun-dun. Hey, Bart.
Does it?
You work in talent and releasing and stuff like that. That music from Chariots of Fire.
Yes.
So Vangelis.
It's never been requested to be in any commercial I've ever worked on.
Well, okay.
No one has ever said, let's put that
But
in
is he making money on that still? Because, I mean, that shows
Sure.
up. Like, I just watched a TV show a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
And they don't even know what it's from. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's being used in another property that isn't Chariots of Fire.
That's why
absolutely.
Vangelis is just like, I'm out of here. He did that in Blade Runner. Nothing since.
Who else got a favorite? Imitation of Life.
One of my mom's favorite movies.
Oh, the original.
Yeah.
Not the
yeah, you're right.
Imitation of the Imitation of Life. This, yeah, the fake one.
Yes. Very.
The imitation
very sad.
of the Imitation of Life is my
Who are
favorite
the lead
movie.
actors in that?
Ooh,
Juanita Moore. That's right.
I
That's
have never
Lana
heard of this
Turner.
movie. What happens in this movie? TQ.
Do you want-
I've never seen. Is anyone Imitation of Life?
No, it's one of my mom's favorite movies, but
Does
I haven't
Adam know?
seen it in forever.
Do you know that?
Huh?
Do you know what happens in this movie?
I could not tell you what the plot is.
Wait, come tell me.
Here, I can Phil Donahue it. I'm gonna walk to the crowd.
And don't throw down any sick rhymes, because I'm not about to get up and.
throw down some sick rhymes, absolutely.
I'm going to sit down and talk to you. So it has two storylines. This one was done in 1959. It's a remake of the 1934 version. It's much better.
The 34 was Douglas Sirk?
No,
Douglas Sirk?
the
59.
59
So we're
was
talking about the
Sirk.
Douglas
Yeah.
Sirk. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a story of two women, one white with a daughter. Her husband died in war. And another woman who is black with a mixed race daughter. And the two women find each other. And Lana Turner plays an actress. Juanita Moore comes in to live with her. They say not as a maid, but as an assistant, but really maid. And it's the story of how the two women support each other. And as Lana gets famous, Juanita gives her life basically to help her raise her kids.
Have that removed
That
immediately.
thing has been a problem all day. raise her, Lana Turner's daughter and her own daughter, but her daughter is growing up in a house with white women, not looking black. She passes as white, and ultimately is rejecting her black race to become white. And at one point, Troy Donahue's in the film, and he's dating her, thinking she's white. And when he finds out she's black, he punches her because that's
'Cause he's
what
got the
men
fever.
do. It's 1959.
That's what we do.
And so she runs away and has this life, and her mother comes to find her, and it's just-
sounds like an amazing movie,
It's an
but
amazing
Paul, let's
film.
not open this up to the crowd because it's kind of a bring down. So just
No, but it's beautiful because the set design is all these pastel colors, and the wardrobe was
is it a Technicolor film?
it's
Technicolor, right?
Technicolor,
Yeah.
And the wardrobe was actually created to match the sets.
That's what your Douglas Sirk was all about, right? If
Yeah,
you want to
it's-
see a movie called Far From Heaven with Julianne Moore and Dennis Quaid, that's
Yeah,
kind
the
of
color
what
in
they,
that.
if you have seen that, then you know the style of a Douglas Sirk film already, because they were mimicking that for
Yeah.
that movie.
It's beautiful. It's a great film.
Thank you for
Well,
sharing.
In film class in college. That's one they show because
Yeah.
it's so important like that and so well done.
Very
I
cool.
will put it on a list
Anyone else got a favorite movie?
Let's talk
that
about
I've
Reese
never heard
Witherspoon.
of and that you can then tell me about.
What's your favorite movie?
Does it end with a big
I
explosion?
don't know why you're sticking out in the crowd.
Yeah, I don't know why my attention was drawn to you, but it has to end with a big
Is it-
explosion. Otherwise, I don't want to
Is
hear
it
about
Rabbit Tests with Billy
Harvey,
Crystal?
Yes.
it. Big explosion.
Oh, Harvey, yeah. Harvey's got to be it, right? Yeah.
I wanted to thank Harvey for coming today.
Is everyone else seeing her?
You're good.
Okay, good.
Wow, Kevin, you are okay. That's a good question.
we
though,
know
Kevin.
movie references.
All right, well, let's take things home here with Karen. She's going to wrap up things with Karen's birthdays. This is her weekly look at the birthdays of those who make the movies. Karen, take it away.
Karen's birthdays, it's time for Karen's birthday. Karen's birthdays, it's time for Karen's birthday. Karen's birthdays,
Robots
it's time
love
for
it.
Karen's birthday.
Let's start off our week of birthdays by wishing a very happy birthday to Miss Tina Fey, who turns 47 but can play anywhere from a comedian to a humanitarian.
You know what else
Tina
she can
studied
play?
at the Second City in Chicago along with us where we were at. Matter of fact, she was there about maybe about a year or two before we were, so we were able to see her on the main stage, which was really very cool. And then
every night for a while.
every night we would go to the open sets and get to see Tina and a lot of people who went on to bigger and better things too. When we were there, we also got to see Scott Adsit, and we also got to see Jack McBrayer was on 30
Rachel
Rock.
Dratch was on
Rachel
stage.
Dratch, of course. And Jenna Jolovitz, who writes a bunch of TV shows, all
Adam
of those
McKay.
people.
That was a class well put together. It was a touched class.
It was a touch class in many ways.
You know
But,
what else Tina Fey is good at playing, Karen?
What is that?
Wedding shower guest.
She was at my wedding shower. That
Wedding
was
shower
odd.
guest number 1.
Thank you. She was. Paul got a hold of my address book and did a surprise party. So she was my teacher at the time. So there was Tina. Very nice about the whole thing. So
If you're going to get Tina Fey to your wedding shower, you got to get her early in her career.
Yes, it was really early. She hadn't done Saturday Night Live yet. I don't think she even thought about Saturday Night Live
She's
yet.
not here today. Let's make sure. She didn't come? Okay.
One thing I found interesting when I was doing research about her, she's quoted as saying on IMDb, "I am obsessed with things like strippers and Playboy playmates. And I'm obsessed with portraying them as how grim I think it is. But my friend Stephanie Ware, who also was on Mad TV in the same class of all these people, she did the best version of a sketch that had a stripper in it at a bachelor party. It was cool because she was playing a stripper who had to bring her kid because the babysitter fell through. So the discomfort of that situation spoke to Tina in some way. That she was on the pole, but she also had a child there. A humanitarian, quite frankly.
I have not seen it.
Most strippers are.
Yeah, right?
just gotta
It's
get
just
to
a
know
job, people. Just a job like
give and
any
give.
other. Also, she said that she came to a convention one time. Actually, she was on Saturday Night Live, and she said she understood what it would be like to go to a convention because she was playing Princess Leia, and she wore the Princess Leia outfit for the sketch. And she said, you put on that costume and the wig, and the nerds go bananas. People started staring at me in the hall. Extras were all over me. Background people, everyone, all of a sudden wanted to talk to me. No one noticed me up until then.
It is critical for the vision in my head to tell me which Princess Leia costume.
I'm not sure. I have a guess. It's the white dress.
Yeah, we'll go with the original.
Okay.
But that's like a nerdgasm, because like Tina Fey is kind of like a sex symbol for nerds
She's very
a
sexy.
Leia.
And now she's Princess Leia.
Twice the
I
nerd.
can't handle it.
It's too much. She said up till then on Saturday Night Live, it was very early in her career, and no one had noticed her. Apparently, ladies dress like Princess Leia. That's what we all learned today. Also, let's wish a very happy birthday to Mr. Doug Jones.
Get a
Yes,
Doug
now,
hug.
Doug Jones, he said, we met him, and he is the best hugger. I don't know if you guys ever get a chance.
Everyone here been hugged by Doug Jones? No?
Yes.
Get that done.
He gets it done in so many ways. There's hands and hugging. And
There's a lot of Doug Jones to go around.
yeah.
The Doug hug is the best.
Well, he can play anywhere from a guy hidden in all sorts of prosthetics to himself. He was himself in adaptation with Nicolas Cage, of all things. A strange movie, but he played himself. Perfect. He learned mime at school, and he joined a troupe and been doing that whole white-face mime thing. And he said that he also worked as a contortionist, which I find very sexy. And I love on his IMDb, it says, he is a sensitive and elegant performer as Abe Sapien in Hellboy.
That is an odd way to end a sentence that starts so elegant.
But he got
You think
critical
that would
acclaim.
end in James Ivory's Howard's End?
No. He also was in some music videos, too. He was in Madonna's and also Marilyn Manson's, which sort of makes sense. And he's acted in over 25 films. He just had one out recently. You guys, what was that one? I didn't have it
he
on
was in
here.
Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak. Mm-hmm.
To play the creep.
You know who I always think he is, but he isn't?
Yes, tell
There is
us.
a long, lanky dude in the cantina scene in Star Wars, and he's smoking on that long cigarette. I'm like, I always think for a half a second, I'm like, that's Doug.
That guy does look like Doug Jones.
Right?
You're correct.
I always think
I
that's
can't
him.
believe you noticed someone in the corner of the cantina and have paid attention to it.
He said a couple
I surprise you every once in a
A
while.
couple of the things that have worked for him in his career, because we had him on one of our shows early on, and we asked him all sorts of questions. And he said partially it's because he's so tall and all of his features are very long. So when they're making these magical creatures, they can make it seem even longer and skinnier. He's super skinny, and he's not claustrophobic. And that's something you don't think about because these people have to... they have to put all these prosthetics and all that kind of stuff on him. And I had to do that once. I had to wear like a fake nose, and it makes you really uncomfortable. You can't breathe through your nose, and you get a little nervous. He said he's just not claustrophobic, and so he'd be waiting. For example, if he were to make an entrance, he'd not only be in a costume, but he might be in a little tiny closet space. So now he's in a costume in a closet space, and he's just very calm. And if you've met him, you know he's very calm, and that makes sense. But Bart, I love when celebrities sing. It's one of my favorite things.
This is true for those of you who have remained here throughout the entire show. Unfortunately, those who have left will not be prepared for this, but this is going to happen to you now that you've seen Karen in the show.
Yes.
People are going to come up to you on the street and they're going to say, "Hey, tell me 2 interesting things about that Karen Volpe."
Happens all the time, apparently.
And the first thing you're going to say is Karen Volpe has given men more than blue hands in her lifetime.
That's true.
And then the other thing you need to tell people is that Karen Volpe loves when celebrities sing.
I do. I always get a kick out of it, especially, some celebrities are great singers. Others are character-driven singers. But Mr. Doug Jones, we have him singing a little something, so we're going to throw this right at you.
I bet he's a great singer.
Is it from Hellboy?
From Hellboy 2.
Very nice.
Barry kicks it off.
That's it?
Barry kicks it off. And then Abe joins
And
it.
Abe joins.
I can't and I can't sit.
Character-driven.
Finding it hard to do anything you say. Feel sad when you're sad.
And Hellboy joins in.
When
in the
you're
background.
glad.
So happy birthday, Doug, and happy birthday, Tina Fey.
Woo! Yeah, Doug was here at WhedonCon last year. So if you're a two-timer, you got to see Doug last year. Couldn't make it this year, so this will keep going, and he'll probably come back again.
I'll hold out my hope for another hug for next year's WhedonCon.
And that wraps another movie showcast, everybody. Together with the movie guys, individually we are
Karen
Bart
Volpe.
Guys. And follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, Facebook.com/The Movie Guys, iTunes, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that crap. Thanks to Kevin Will. I hope that Joss Whedon creates another show you can work on.
I hope he kills you off again.
That would be great.
I don't know if I go there.
Especially if it were him personally.
Just jumping into a small part so I can kill you.
That's right.
Yeah. And thanks to Steve Schultz for his writing contributions to the show every week. And as ever, we owe everything to Pat Peach. And remember, you can catch our new show, cleverly titled The New Movie Show, on iTunes and YouTube. Search The New Movie Show. It'll pop right up, and you won't be disappointed. Also, tonight, we are doing a superhero roast in Track B. So all the superheroes are coming out, Track B. All the superheroes are coming out to celebrate Wolverine's retirement. And they're going to have a Comedy Central and or Friars Club, whatever you care most for, style roast.
Superhero roast.
It's going to be fun. It's going to get weird.
At 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and that's at 7. That's at 6:30.
Oh, that gentleman, someone said 7.
6:30.
Okay.
6:30?
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know more than we do. And we'll put pieces of that up on our YouTube page as
We
well.
might say the word boob. So,
But only when we're talking about this Joker.
Hello.
After 5. After 5, it could get a little randy. But until next time, until the next time, I should
Until
say,
then, make sure you say hi to Paul Feig.
Yes.
Because he's
And
super
cry on him if you can.
We will dust off
cry on
this
him.
showcast one more time. Who knows when? But till then, so long.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.